the main critique that you'll hear from board members who support Wayne is that those like you who are critical of him or want to remove him are hurting the NRA, that you're doing the work of Michael Bloomberg or gun control advocates, that you're weakening the organization by doing this. How do you feel? How do you respond to those sorts of accusations?
Iron sharpens iron. So the only way a board is able to strengthen an organization is to have rigorous debate and to hash through issues and deal with them forthrightly. Suppression of comments, suppression of dissent, to me is a sign of weakness. Because if you can't defend the position, you have to ostracize and eliminate those that have contrary views. To me, it's a sign of weakness. So, most of my career is mergers and acquisitions. It's evaluating companies, evaluating leadership teams, and looking for strength. When I'm evaluating a company, if the leadership team defers all the decisions to one person, we don't buy that company because that's not a leadership team that can scale. That's just a leader who is doing things the leader wants done. That's not a scalable, growing organization. And I think the track record of the NRA for the past 4 years mirrors that, because you have suppressed dissent. You have what's the right word for it? Institutionalized weakness in terms of a smaller and smaller group of people are supporting positions, and only people that support those positions are brought onto the board in terms of the nominating process. And those that try to come on as I don't refer to myself as a dissident. I refer to myself as an independent director. I bring an independent perspective. I've been a life member since '91. I've been a member since '79. I support the mission of the NRA and the association. But that just because I support the mission doesn't mean I need to support management. And I think that's what a true independent director does on a board, is that, do we have the right leaders in place? Do we have the right succession plan in place? Is our budget achievable? Do we have the right plans and programs in place? And if you don't say yes, then you're the enemy within.
Well, let's go through a couple more of these critiques while we're on this topic, or these responses, because a number of them came up again at the members' meeting, right? These common defenses that you'll hear of Wayne and members of leadership. One being essentially that Wayne LaPierre has done a lot for the NRA and to protect the Second Amendment, and his name being on the fundraising letters brings in so much money for the NRA that he effectively deserves the salary that he gets paid in terms of because he makes more than $2 million a year, right? And that's been a point of criticism before. But I think there was one board member said that as a percentage of the group's revenue, he's making less than other gun rights groups' leaders. I guess because the NRA's revenue is so large, obviously, compared to other groups. And additionally, some of these things that he does, like using private jets commonly, or any number of other expenses that get run through the NRA, mosquito treatments for his house, different car rentals, that sort of thing, are necessary because of the unique safety concerns that he has, because he's been swatted a number of times. He's been, there's obviously, he gets death threats constantly. These are often the justifications that you will hear for some of the spending that has gone on in regards to Wayne LaPierre, and in regards to how much he makes from the organization. What is your response to that? Like, do you think those are legitimate, or what Why wouldn't those be legitimate
So
defenses of what he's done?
Couple thoughts here. One is, agree Wayne has done great things for the organization in the past. The job of the board is not to honor the past. The job of the board is the guidance for the future. And I think that's one of the challenges with the board. They are looking in the rear view. They're looking in the rear view mirror, not in the windshield. And that when my term on the board I did not get into any of the compensation points. To me, the record in the New York AG case in the bankruptcy lays out pretty well what the expenditures are, and the New York AG has taken exception to them. And I'm not a judge, but when you look at them, I think many of those expenditures were inappropriate. I'll just stop at that. That's for the jury. That's for the jury to decide. But when you look at what the death threats and other pieces in security, they're expenses. But when I look at the budget of the NRA, I look at there's a concept in management, boulders, rocks, and pebbles. And the expenditures are pebbles in terms of overall expenditures in the business. The boulders that need to be dealt with are the declining membership and the excessive, and I will use the word excessive legal fees. So when you look at those two things, everything else is, when you're in a $200 million budget, what are the big numbers? You've got membership, which is more than half of that, which is, it's $100 million plus of membership, from the 990 reports. And then you have legal fees that are over $50 million. Well, that's, they're the two big boulders. And so what are you doing to manage the boulders? The little stuff works itself out. And I think that's been one of the challenges with the reform movement, is being overly focused on little things that, as a board member, we talk about, well, what's material? And the other way of looking at things is, what's a rounding error? So if it's a rounding error, is it really relevant to spend board time on? And I will say I've seen board members spending time in meetings on rounding error items because they weren't dealing with the boulders. And the boulders are the membership revenue, the declining membership revenue, and the increasing legal fees.